Welcome back into the Now Morning Show. And one Monday for the month, we were promised that it would become Cyber Monday right here on the Now Morning Show with the TTPS. And this morning, I want to welcome Corporal Leslie-Ann Bacquain, who joins us as head of the social media team at the Cyber and Social Media Department of the TTPS. Good morning to you, Corporal.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here this morning.
How are you doing?
All is well, after God.
And we give thanks for that. All right, so this morning we're talking cybersecurity in a specific way. When we're talking social media, you're the head of the social media team.
Yes, I am.
So firstly, tell me some of the common challenges that you would have encountered as head of the social media team.
Cyber laws.
Cyber laws.
Why I say cyber laws is because a lot of things happen on social media that the general public calls in, asks for assistance for, and we are just limited to what we can do because there are no laws put in place. So, we try to talk with them, show empathy, and obviously guide them in the event of whatever their issue is.
What are some of the types of issues that we see?
Oh, well, currently, like ongoing, we have something called Pretty Piper. It's an app that is trending among school children. So we have a lot of principals, parents calling in that are concerned because they are posting people up, saying things about them, which is along a defamation of character. However, we talk to them and we guide them on what we can do to assist them in the case.
Can I ask then, where the apps are concerned, that one is one in particular, but the other is like the grinders and the Facebook, the more common, that there are very little restraints in terms of access that students or younger children may have to it.
Right.
How do we treat with that in terms of interacting with underage children or all of the other things that we can't really mitigate?
Okay, so one thing we encourage is we ask parents to get involved, monitor their kids, what they're doing online, because this is very important. We live in a digital era where, it's something we have to deal with. So we have caravans where we go around to schools and businesses and we educate them on online security and how best they can practice safe habits while being online. Apps like Grindr, Tumble, those are like dating apps. Again, we need the help of the parents being very interactive because oftentimes we see where women now take an active role. They're working together with the husband, not at home, and the quickest thing for them is go on your tablet, to get them to stay quiet. We ask that we use parental control. Google has one called Family Link, which it hinders the child from going on to certain apps. Also, it times, so you can set the time for your child. If they want them for 3 hours, 2 hours, you are also aware of what they are seeing and going on to. So this is very critical in moving forward with those things.
All right. In terms of what sort of advice parents need? I mean, yes, you mentioned the timers, you mentioned putting in place the security mechanisms, but in terms of having conversations with your children, how important would you say that is as a part of the process?
Very, very critical.
And what kind of conversations should we be having?
Oftentimes, when we go to schools and we conduct lectures, what happens, you will get kids coming to us after sharing certain information, what they will have gone through where cyberbullying is concerned, because this will have a negative impact on our children. So we ask the parents to constantly, the child comes home from school, how was your day, what you did, what went on. Create that bond, because that is the only thing that is going to assist where you can have the child feeling comfortable to come and speak to you about anything. Educate them, things may happen, teach them how to deal with it, how to respond, because bullying, they look for attention. So we often tell them, if you're getting these kind of information on the phone, you either block them or you do respond. Because when you do, this encourages the person to come at you more.
Let's get a little bit into the specifics of things, because we know cyberbullying is an issue. We know that we do have the framework, or beginning to create the framework for legalities to support action against those sort of things.
Right.
What sort of statistics are we looking at? Not just with children, but as you mentioned, defaming other persons on applications and those sorts. Do we have the numbers to tell us how often these things happen and perhaps where it's more popular?
Yes. Again, I will refer to we have an influx where Facebook Marketplace is concerned. A lot of people go up there to, purchase stuff. They may see at a lesser price. However, we encourage them because we are seeing where robberies, the criminal element is using these platforms to lure people out,
right,
to get them to, either commit robbery, violence. So statistically, what we do, we try to get out there and get our information out there. There's a TTPS portal where you can go and get the information on how to conduct these transactions if you have to. But there have been an increase, especially with the Facebook Place and the Grindr app. Yeah, where persons, so take for instance, I'm just shortly, the Grindr app where persons, it's a dating app, so you meet, you talk. However, we are seeing where persons, after conversations, inviting persons to their home and they're being robbed. So, we're not going to deter anybody. That's a personal choice. However, we ask persons to, if you want to meet a person for the first time, public place where there's a lot of people around, or you go with somebody, in the event it turns in another direction.
No, and this is where it gets very interesting for me, Corporal, because I know for a fact that the Grindr app is not just a dating app, it's a specific dating app.
Yes,
and most of these apps are very specific in terms of their target audience, right? And there might be certain levels of shame or embarrassment involved with some of it based on the society that we do live in. So, I mean, if people are not comfortable saying, all right, well, meet me in this public place, what would you suggest in that case then?
Go with someone.
Okay.
Don't let it be you going to meet this person alone, because really and truly you met this person online. You don't really know the person. And a lot of times you are talking to a person online and it's not necessarily the person you are speaking to.
Yeah.
So that is very important, even if you don't want the person to be directly there, have them sit a place or come in the car and just have an eyes on in the event anything goes on.
I'm glad that you brought up the persons being, as we like to say, catfish. In 2024, we have a word now. But the kids will encounter that a lot, unfortunately.
Yes.
And that's when we get into a much more complex legal situation. So what are our laws like in support of those situations? How do we report it? How do we pursue it legally? What does it look like?
Okay, so when we... currently, the TTPS works with something called NICMEC. It's a foreign platform for exploited children. We would get certain information. When we get that information, it is passed on to the Child Protection Unit, as they are specialized in that area. So again, knowledge is the key. So we go out there, we speak to them, we talk to them, because digital era, it's a new thing. Persons are posting, they want to post where it is. They're putting everything out there. We ask them to limit it because, again, you don't know who's the person behind speaking to you, and you're letting out all this personal information. I'm at the mall, so they know you're not home. Or you take it out in front of your car, they know the car. When you're going to school, also she goes to that school. They'll park up out there and wait. So it's a lot. But again, we cannot do it without the help of the public and parents working with their kids.
Right.
And especially during this Java period here where we have the July-August vacation, is there anything in particular that you've seen as a rising trend since the vacation started?
Just the Pretty Piper, because the Pretty Piper is not new to us. It was out previously. And when we had the caravan going to various schools and businesses, we saw a decrease in it. And as soon as school closed last week, this site came back up. And now
so just to be clear, what Pretty Piper is about? Because I never heard about this one.
Really?
All
right, so Pretty Piper is an app where mostly school children go up and defame other children. So they either speak to your physical appearance, to bring down self-esteem, obviously.
So just a bashing site? Like
it's
they're just there to bash?
Site. They're bashing you. They're bashing the teachers. They are talking about them in...
And calling full name and thing?
Not calling full name. They don't call full name, but
images are there.
Images are there. And they talk about certain things that goes on in the classroom. So even that, I think, should be addressed at a higher level, where use of cell phones in schools would be curbed or controlled in some way. Because the Pretty Piper, you're seeing it coming out on that app.
What you're describing, though, may not necessarily be that they're using it in the classroom at the time, though.
No,
So
but they
that would be a
record
hard
and,
way
you
to-
know, post at a later date,
Yeah.
you know. So specific rules, that's just my opinion, should be
Fair,
done.
fair, fair.
In terms of the cyber laws that we would have been speaking about periodically during this conversation, before we go, what sort of laws do you think we need to see put in place, and how soon do we need them?
Like yesterday, because we see where it is rising. You know, a lot of people have devices, they have cell phones, they have computers. We saw where definitely cyberbullying should be a part of it. You know, because
But wouldn't it fall under defamation of character?
the cyberbullying,
Yeah.
it would. However, there are other aspects to it, because you know, cyberbullying is just not attacking the person alone. Sometimes you talk about a group of persons, you know, so this should also be identified within the laws.
In that case, we have a lot of work to
A
do,
lot
but at
of work.
least the work has begun.
Yes, it has started.
What we're hearing, though, is that the TTPS is doing a lot of educating right now, and so those caravans, they continue during the Java season as well.
Of course, we do, and we work in police youth clubs, so we have camps going on where kids come there and we conduct lectures on online safety during these camps.
Fantastic. Well, Corporal Bacquain, thank you so much for joining us
You're
and for
welcome.
sharing this
Thanks for
information with
having
us
me.
this morning. I definitely learned at least about Pretty Piper, if nothing else. But what we definitely learned to do is, talk to your children about being safe
Definitely.
when it comes to social media, when it comes to any online presence at all. Be as safe as possible, educate them as much as possible, and parents, check out the parental controls and everything, because you can have the final say in what's happening. Let's take a quick break and come back with more on the Now Morning Show.